Hi strangers, Mitch here. Another scary story today from Point of No Return. This was found on the No Sleep Reddit. If you enjoyed the story, make sure you check the description below and check out the author's other work. And if you like the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Here on Beyond Strange, I tell scary stories as well as have compilations of some pretty creepy stuff. Either way, I hope you like the story. Now go creepy intro. I'm looking for advice. It all started 8 months ago, sometime after my parents passed away. I left my hometown, a small bordering rural community, after getting a job application in a more populated urban city. My sister helped me find a new apartment, not very spacious or luxurious, but the rent was cheap and honestly it was just enough for a guy like me. Mind you that I'd lived in my old town pretty much my entire life until that point. My sister left after her graduation, but I got a job at the local pharmacy and stayed to take care of our parents. They were never really healthy people, and I don't know if they would have managed without one of us taking care of them. So I stayed with them for the years to come, and once they passed away, with less than a week between the two, I just didn't really know what to do with my life. The grief settled, followed by periods of pure emptiness and the feeling that I was just too old to do or realize anything of importance. I couldn't bear living in that town anymore, seeing the same people every day, going to the same places and feeling like I was trapped in some sort of bubble, isolated from the world outside. So, like I said, I got a job application and my sister helped me move to a new location. And honestly, it was like a breath of fresh air. Even if at times I felt like a fish out of water, walking through different streets and seeing new faces at work, meeting new people was simply worth it. It was like I was finally starting my life the way it should have been. I only brought some stuff with me from our old home, like the fridge, which is where things get complicated. I brought it with me because it was relatively new. I'd bought it less than 4 or 5 years earlier and it was still in good condition. Never gave me a problem and still worked well. That is until I took it to my new place. It worked normally for the first few weeks, like a normal fridge, not much mystery in that. Until one night I noticed something strange. I had just gotten home from work and I was too tired and frankly lazy to the point where I didn't want to cook anything of substance. So I took a look at the shelf to see if I could find some instant noodles, but unfortunately there weren't any. Then I opened the fridge to look for some leftovers or anything really, when I came across a large slice of chocolate cake wrapped up in plastic. The thing is, I never bought any chocolate cake. In fact, I didn't even like it much, too sweet for my taste. I had absolutely no idea on how it had gotten there. I tried to remember if it was some sort of gift from the neighbours or maybe something from work, and I admit I tend to forget about those sorts of things, but nothing came to mind. I definitely didn't make it myself. It was just like it appeared out of thin air. I found it weird, but I just assumed it was something I had forgotten about and ate it that night without worries. I have to say it was actually pretty good. I didn't comment to anyone about the strange little incident with the cake, and a week had gone by. I'd pretty much forgotten all about it, until it happened again. Same scenario. I had just gotten home from work, and when I opened the fridge I found a large pizza box with 3 large slices of pepperoni pizza in what seemed to be an 8-slice box from a local pizza chain. The same one I always see on my way to work, but I'd never eaten there. After I spent some more time questioning my own memory and sanity, came to the conclusion that something was definitely wrong. I checked the locks, asked around to see if anyone saw someone entering my apartment, but it was no use. I even called my sister to see if she'd been home when I wasn't there, but I never gave her a key and she confirmed it wasn't her. I got so paranoid I didn't eat the pizza this time and just threw it away. Less than 2 days later, it happened again. It was early in the morning when I opened the fridge and there was a large gallon of milk, still fresh, not even open. Once again, my fear and paranoia came back. I was sure that someone was, and God only knows why, entering my apartment, opening my fridge and leaving completely random food there. I had to know, so I didn't leave home for an entire Sunday. Locked all the doors and windows and didn't take my eyes off the kitchen. I triple-checked the fridge and I was sure of all the contents inside. I thought about calling the police, but what would I say? And frankly, a part of me just held to the belief that I was somehow forgetting about my own food and there was nothing wrong at all. So the day passed by and I stayed vigilant. At night, when I went and checked the fridge for the 4th time, fully expecting to see the same food I had memorized, I came across a large fruit bowl that I had never seen before. Sitting in the middle of the fridge, almost as if the fucking bowl was staring right at me. Alright, I'm just losing my mind. I checked every single corner of my apartment. It was too small for someone to hide, but there wasn't anyone but me. There wasn't anything behind the fridge either, just a solid concrete wall. I had had enough. So I went to bed and decided to call my sister the next morning to see if she knew a good psychiatrist. I was probably in desperate need of professional help. Every day, something different appeared inside the fridge. It wasn't an illusion, it was real, edible food. Sometimes I opened the fridge to find leftovers of a dinner I never had, or eggs, or ice cream, and even beer. Sometimes it was frozen food like a lasagna or a drink. And for God's sake, it happened almost daily to the point where I started getting used to it. Sometimes I just wasn't in the mood to cook and went to the fridge to check for anything new. I had eaten enough to know I wasn't going to get poisoned or die, even by eating some random yucky soba plate. And when the food came in dishes, they stayed with me, to the point where I had new plates and even cups almost every week. And when the food was gone, it was always great to know I wouldn't have to worry about cooking something for myself. I just went with it with a certain level of expectancy to either be positively surprised or finding myself having to eat beans from a partially open can. After some months of this, it just became a part of my life. A part that I didn't tell anyone about. But there was still the question, where did that food come from? For a good while I pondered about how it had gotten there, and even though I'm not superstitious, I just accepted that some sort of magic or supernatural entity was ensuring me that I wouldn't die of starvation anytime soon. But the food I found oftentimes seemed to come from someone else, like someone else had prepared and stored in their own fridge. But after a while, I found the answer. One night I opened the fridge to find an entire birthday cake covered in unlit candles and a message, "Happy birthday, Kevin." I knew exactly who that cake belonged to. The neighbours in the upper floor, a small family that I'd seen just today making the arrangements for the birthday party of their youngest son, a boy named Kevin. Holy shit, I almost choked to the realization. I know you're probably having a hard time hearing this and keeping a straight face, but for some fucking reason my fridge was stealing the food of my upstairs neighbours. I couldn't even give it back. What would I say? Hey, here's your birthday cake, kid. It just teleported right into my fridge. I'm terribly sorry that boy had to go through his birthday without cake, but I had no way of explaining it. People would think I'm invading their apartments and stealing their food. So I ate it, with a heavy conscience. I've started to pay more attention and even cautiously ask some questions, which confirmed my theory. The food that appears inside my fridge belongs only to the residents of the building I live in. Stuff that they bought or made just disappears. The reason I've decided to share this with you now is because tonight I opened the fridge and almost had a heart attack. Because inside I found a severed human arm. I fell backwards and tried to hold the urge to scream. The long, pale fingers were extended in my direction and frozen in place. Dirty nails and lacerations all over it. I puked, terribly nauseous. I couldn't even tell if the arm belonged to a man or a woman. All I knew was that this was a real, severed human arm. And I swear to you, there were bite marks in it. I don't know what to do. If I call the police, how would I explain it? I'm scared and I can't think straight. And that arm, it belonged to someone in my building, I'm sure. Can't bear the thought. I don't know what to do. What should I do? That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching or listening. Again, remember to check the description for Point of No Return's work. And please, if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment and let me know what you like about the story. It helps the channel and makes that algorithm notice me. No, please notice me. Thanks again, guys, and come back next time to Beyond Strange.